When the exam is over, collect all exam materials. As you collect the materials, check the front cover of each Section 2 booklet to be sure that the student has placed an AP number label in the box and noted their essay choices, if applicable. Also, check that the student has completed the Important Identification Information area on the back cover, and that the answers have been written in the free response booklet, not in the orange booklet. Before dismissing the students, count the used free response booklets and orange booklets. Again, be sure that your numbers match. Check that you are not missing anything before dismissing the students. Except for emergencies, students may not leave the exam room early. You will be reminding students that they may only discuss the free response questions if the specific questions on the exam they took are released on the College Board website 2 days after the exam. If the questions are not released, they may not be discussed with anyone. Make a final check of the testing room to be sure nothing has been left behind. All of the exam materials and supplies are to be collected and returned to me immediately after the exam. Account for all exam booklets, answer sheets, student packs. Return a completed roster as well as the seating chart and, if warranted, the incident report. There are a number of forms that you may need to complete or reference during the exam. The new mandatory completion of seating chart. Schools must complete a seating chart during testing for every AP exam administration. A seating chart will be provided for each exam. The seating chart notes what seats were occupied and the distribution pattern of the exam materials, along with the test book serial numbers. Please be sure to write clearly, as this chart may be referenced should an incident or security violation occur. Please sign and date the chart. After the exam, be sure to return the seating chart to me along with other exam materials. Incident report form. An incident is any disturbance or situation that occurs during the exam that could have an impact on a student's score. The table in the 2014-15 AP Coordinator's Manual and in the 2014-15 AP Exam Instructions book lists exam incidents and how they should be resolved. The table also indicates when an incident should be documented. In the case of a testing incident, refer to the table to complete the incident report form if it is warranted. The form is on pages 122 and 123 of the 2014-15 AP Coordinator's Manual. Review the form and follow the directions carefully. Be sure that all details of the incident are reported to me. AP Score Cancellation Form. Occasionally, a student will decide to cancel the exam before being dismissed from the exam room. In that case, the student must complete the AP Score Cancellation Form and either return it to me for inclusion with the return materials or mail or fax it to AP Services by June 15th. A signature from the student or the student's parent or guardian is required on the form. The form is available online. Calculator Release Policy. The AP Biology, Calculus, Chemistry, Physics, and Statistics exams require or permit students to use a calculator during all or part of the exam. If a student chooses to take the exam without a calculator, the student must hand copy and sign the calculator release statement. The signed statement indicates that the student won't be able to challenge the AP score because the student didn't use a calculator on the exam. The signed statement is to be returned to me after the exam. For your information, I have provided you with a list of AP-approved graphing calculators. AP Exam Question Ambiguity and Error Form. If a student feels that a question has an error or is unclear, advise the student to fill out the AP Exam Question Ambiguity and Error Form on the AP Students website. They will click on Taking the Exam, then Exam Policies, then Exam Day Policies, and to follow the directions there for sending it to the AP Assessment Development. Non-Standard Administration Report, NAR. This form is used only for exams administered with College Board approved accommodations. Before the administration, you will receive an NAR for each exam for each student testing with accommodations. If a student is approved for extended time, The SSD coordinator, or I, will indicate how much time the student has been approved for by part or by section, and the amount of approved break time will also be noted. You will need to indicate the actual amount of time that the student uses for each part and section. You do not need to complete the Section 1 time and Section 2 time portions of the NAR for students who are not approved for extended time. If a student is approved for a break accommodation, the extra or extended break time portion should be completed. The completed NAR for all students must be returned to me with your exam materials. In addition, we advise students to bring their SSD student accommodations letters to the testing room as additional verification that they are entitled to these accommodations. If a student refuses accommodations and is not 18 years old, he or she must have a letter from parents agreeing to this. This year, we are not offering any AP tests that require special equipment. If any student receiving accommodations requires special equipment, I will speak with the proctors of those exams specifically. If you need to get in touch with me, either before or during the administration, my contact information is on the screen. Do you have any questions on the policies and procedures that were reviewed today? Was there a particular portion of the training that was unclear to you and might need further explanation? Please review all of your instructions and information. Contact me with any questions that you may have as soon as possible. Thank you for assisting with this year's AP exam administration. Your time and effort are greatly appreciated. Please look at the pack that I gave you. The first page, which is labeled page 29, outlines the proctor duties as I read them to you. The next next 4 pages are the exam security. I do not think I need to read those to you. You can read those on your own. Starting on what is labeled page 32 are the exam administration times. The next page, which is labeled page 39, shows you what the exam booklets will actually look like, and those pictures are annotated with what things are and where to find them. Page 39 is the front of the multiple choice. Page 40 is the front of the free response. Page 41 is the back of the free response. And page 42 is what an orange booklet would look like if those are used. The next page, which is labeled 52, is the list of administration incidents, which should also be in the individual test report. Starting on what is labeled page 43, which is next, are all of the calculator policies and what students are allowed to bring and what they are not allowed to bring. I will provide the calculator release statements with the testing materials. Notice that the biology, calculus, chemistry, physics, and statistics tests require different types of calculators, and that they do not require calculators to be cleared before being used unless they're going to be shared between students.